What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Cronos, the New Dawn. We finally got something that I've wanted and petitioned for a long time with this game, and it's just footage. Just show us this game. And granted, they do some interesting, trickery. You're walking down a hall, and suddenly it's something else. I feel like sometimes very quick cuts. Sometimes the jump in the scene actually feels like it's part of the gameplay itself. So I don't know if I would call this 10 minutes of completely uncut footage, but it's roughly close to that, and I will accept that. So what I want to do, I want to take a look at it, watch it alongside you guys. I'm actually going to play the sound. Sometimes I don't do that for the music YouTube purposes, but I think the sound design is one of the better things with this game. So the creatures and just some of the sound effects, I feel like we need to hear that in order to properly judge it. So let's jump in, and we'll just watch the whole thing. All right, so we jump right in. And immediately, I think it makes a good first impression with that awesome background music there, and then a little scary stuff there.
I've entered the A0 sector. Heading forward.
Now, I saw some people say in the comments, that's Celine's voice from Returnal, is it not? Pretty sure. I think that's the voice that people were talking about in the comments. So first thing I was trying to do is just kind of look around. This is kind of jumping around and almost puzzle solving stuff. Just trying to look at that bottom right corner. You can see the ammo at the very bottom of the bottom right corner, but there's other things there too. So you can see it. It's like a fiery thing. But I think this, honestly, kind of right away, it shows a little bit of traversal puzzle solving, right? I think people said it kind of correctly. I think even in the comments of this video, this is pretty Dead Space-like, and then it kind of gets a little Resident Evil-like as it goes.
Threads that used to bind the world together are snapping there in Sector A0.
And I think it's hard to not see Dead Space, in this. Okay, so I mean, right here is an example of, is this part of the same scene? Because we're going to see in a second, it jumps back to that. And I think it's part of the same thing. Pretty cool. I wonder, what happens if you shoot? Are you shooting at nothing? I don't know.
Chaos looms through the wounds in reality.
This is where you get some of that sound design. I just think atmospheric is what they're shooting for, in this. It's a bit of, by the way, that sounds like a clicker. A bit of Dead Space, a bit of, again, this traversal of going from, one area to the next, kind of puzzle solving. I'd like to believe that first shot was purposely missed. See some gun swapping type things there. Towards the end of this, he uses 4 or 5 different guns to take out enemies. Seems like you get an okay amount, 15 bullets. I think it was 12 before that. At least whatever difficulty this is. But you go through a lot, to take that out. He obviously used some sort of specialized thing there at the end. But you use 12, 13 bullets to take out just the one, enemy. But I'm liking it. I mean, I think that kind of reminds me. I know Callisto Protocol is another thing that's brought up as well. But I think atmospheric, claustrophobic, Silent Hill, Dead Space, Resident Evil, stuff like that. Scary enough enemies that are kind of always lurking around. That one's pretty... I think they purposely pass up on shots at some point too. So I like that. You got the heavy attack or charge, probably charge shot, not charge shot. Flamethrower. And by the way, like it's almost hard to commentate over it because it's like this is kind of just what I want. I just wanted to see, you're walking around, like what do you do? And it's like, well, you hear audio stuff and you hear stuff behind you and you take out enemies, as they're kind of plastered around so they don't grab you, from this. A little bit of puzzle solving, looking for the platforms to be able to jump, even in that beginning with shooting that orb-like thing, right? Different colors to move different things. Like, these are just some things that, these are like minute-to-minute things you're going to be doing in the game. It's not going to change the world or anything, but just cool to finally... Remember, up until this point, we had seen like 10 seconds of footage, and it's always like cut up, and you never really get just, okay, walk from this location to that location. This was really, like I said, the kind of Dead Space portion. I like that travel. I like it when like they flip upside down, like almost a zero gravity type stuff. And I think right around here we're going to start entering like the Resident Evil Silent Hill type, not puzzle solving, but kind of close. So this looks to be health. Fancy words in the description, but picture shows those health signs, right? We all know what those look like. But it's a blueprint and also it, maybe.
My work is endless. My failures are numerous. I managed to set up an ARC-class outpost, but...
And then this I kind of wanted... Let's stop here to actually look at it a little bit. So can we get to the suit, or do they kind of skip that part? I noticed this upon first watch, yeah. Suit integrity, inventory slots, resource limit. Remember, they said you're going to be able to upgrade and buy stuff. You see that at the top, upgrade, buy, sell. This very much, I feel like, is reminiscent of what you would get in like a Dead Space thing. Core, energy, different currencies. So we get that. They really go over that flamethrower pretty quickly. Can I maybe get it before? Let's see. Burning time and fabricated amount and inventory slots limits. I don't really think anything in there I could read into.
I still can't produce enough.
And by the way, I don't know if like they're doing like a mid-build early game, or maybe this is just... If that's not the case, you got to imagine this is at least a little bit into the game, because they already have several things, upgrade.
Every time I manage to weld something else rips. Yet, I must try.
And then here, a little inventory management. Don't know, like over here, I don't think placement, like Resident Evil kind of placement, don't think that necessarily matters, but cool to see what it'll look like. Although there's that fabricated thing, so to be able to create stuff that you find in the world. Pretty common. Pretty, again, like nothing that... Although I really like that. I like being able to swap. Like just walk off the edge and carry it. That's a cool little thing. I feel like I would get lost, though. Or I will get lost, I should say. Alright, and we'll try to do maybe like a 2x speed. This is more of the towards the end of this is more of the fighting.
It really is something else.
We see him plant this. Hopefully you can get that mini game. Seems like one of those mini games where you have to like make it the most intense possible, like the flash. So hopefully people have good eyesight and not eye problems to be able to handle that one. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about with like Silent Hill, Resident Evil. Like, I don't know how deep it'll be. I don't really need it to be all that deep. Doors locked. Go down a hall. In fact, if this is actually what it is. Doors locked, go down a hallway, go into the morgue, and then the key is like in that room. Skip ahead. Classic Isaac Dead Space stomp there. If you played Alan Wake 2, you know that like sidebar thing that was happening, you can really mess people up with doing that, disorienting them, and then like doing a jump scare directly after, which I envision they'll probably do. And there you go, you get the key. And they picked up 5 ammo. Again, I mean, it seems like it takes a good amount to take out enemies, but, like, I imagine they're playing this on, like, a medium-type difficulty. Okay, but now... So even right there, I find it very hard to believe that this is all the same scene. But, I mean, like, you do have this, and then you have... Is it possible? I mean, it's kind of the same flooring. But even if it's a jump, it's whatever. Not much to say there other than just taking the time to hear like what they sound like, which I think sounds very, very cool. Now, by the way, I watched this a couple times before. I kind of want to go back and like say something out loud with you and see if you agree. So you take out the one enemy, and remember, like the main thing with this is like the don't let them merge stuff. I just wonder like which enemies can merge with each other. So like the dead enemy is like, you know, over here, like where the mouse is, right? And you see this enemy, but then over here, right, this guy, he kind of comes over. And originally when I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, are they going to show them merging? And I don't know if they, like, outright ever do that. But then, so this enemy looks like it's coming this way. Then it kind of comes back to attack you. That we'll see in a second. You see different variety, like a pus-like acid one there. Yeah, like, see, that's the one that was going over there. Oh, but right there, I mean, yeah. So there's the start. I really like that, actually. I don't even think I paid attention too much the first time. So there's like the start of like, okay, if you don't stop that, the enemy is just going to be more powerful than it would have been, right? And so a way of doing it. Now I'd like to know, I guess that's this, right? Maybe you have a limited flamethrower. That's like a flame ground thing. Weak spots, that leg look like it could be shot off, right? Like weak. I'm pretty sure now is the point where it just gets insane. Now they just start jumping. Shotgun. More grabbing. I was trying to look. Is there anything over to the left here? So we see a couple different weapons, like shotgun, pistol. Again, there's like a stronger version. Maybe it takes up like 3, 4, 5 bullets instead of 1, and it's almost like a direct shot. Let's see. I'm trying to look like over here if there's anything interesting. There's just, I mean, but there 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of enemies wouldn't want to be stuck in this situation. And then even this. Kind of grenade launcher type thing. That enemy looks different. Let's just take a moment to explore what they look like. I like that. I was recently playing Knack, and it reminds me of like Chiral. It's like very rocky. Looks like Groot.
That doesn't seem right. This place seems suspended between space and time.
Energy. So there's like the currency. A good amount. Upgrades. Didn't seem like it was more than like 2,000. And then I think they end on kind of a banger. This more like Silent Hill, I think. Colors and like things floating. Of course, this is kind of like a game presentation thing, right? I don't think anybody actually walks like this in a game. And for my money's worth, that looks like a turtle. Looks pretty cool, though. Nobody actually walks like that, though, right? Where they're, like, aiming, and then they slowly, like, transition and, like, look across. Unless you're doing it for, like, a video purpose or something. But there you go. Again, nothing... This is a weird one. It's definitely, you know, I've done a couple of these where, like, we watch along, and sometimes I have more to say. In fact, most times I have more to say. This is just, like, you know, get me in. Let me see kind of, like, what you're going to be doing moment to moment. I mean, it's got the classics, like nothing. The thing that really stands out, of course, I think will be the merging, these different enemy types, and that you don't really want them to get too close to each other. And if they're going to overwhelm you, I think that's kind of cool, has potential, right? Because if they're going to overwhelm you, say there's like 4 enemies coming at you and there's already 1 dead, what you might want to do is back off. But if you back off and one of them tries to merge, you just made the situation worse for yourself. So that's where I really see this game having potential. The rest of it is kind of by the books. Nothing wrong with it, right? Audio things playing. You got upgrades. You can buy stuff. You can upgrade stuff. You just the classic, inventory management. A little bit of platforming in the way that a third-person shooter can do, where there's not really jumping, right? Again, I think I like the uniqueness of kind of walking over like squares, right? And you just like enter that next side of it. So I do think some of that stuff is really cool. I'm hooked. Like I think this game is going to be a rather good one, and I really hope, and we've talked about it a lot, I really hope that Cronos can do really well. I think for Bloober Team to do Silent Hill 2 so well, to do an original game that's really good, and then to hit us, I guess, with what's next, which is probably Silent Hill 1 remake. Really, like I want that, not even a redemption story, not even just not underdog. I don't even know what you want to call them at this point. Just a feel-good story is really what it is. I just want them to succeed. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.